Hey everyone, welcome back to the Real Life Migraine Stories podcast. I'm Emma.
And I'm Sarah. We're so happy you're here.
Before we dive in, do us a quick favor. If you're enjoying the podcast, don't forget to hit that subscribe or follow button. It really helps us reach more people living with migraines, and you'll never miss a new episode.
Emma, can I start today's episode with a story?
Of course.
A few weeks ago, we received a message from a woman named Emily. She was grocery shopping with her two little boys when bright, flashing zigzag lights suddenly filled her vision. Within minutes, she couldn't read the labels on the shelves. The fluorescent lights felt blinding. The noise of shopping carts sounded deafening. She became so dizzy that she had to sit on the floor while a stranger helped keep an eye on her children. People walked past staring. Some whispered. Others assumed she was drunk or having a panic attack. 20 minutes later, the migraine hit. Emily later told us, "The pain was terrible, but what hurt the most was feeling like everyone thought I was overreacting."
That story stayed with me because migraines aren't just painful, they're misunderstood.
Exactly. So today we're busting some of the biggest migraine myths we hear every single day. And after each myth, we'll share a real-life story along with facts from trusted medical organizations like the American Migraine Foundation and Mayo Clinic. Because understanding migraines starts with understanding the facts.
We'll also talk about practical comfort strategies, including how many people incorporate cooling or warming therapy, like the Soothie hoodie, into their migraine comfort routine. These strategies are meant to complement, not replace, the advice and treatment plan provided by your healthcare professional.
Let's start with the myth we probably hear the most. Migraines are just bad headaches. Nope, not even close.
Exactly. A headache is one symptom. A migraine is a neurological disease. That means it affects the brain and nervous system, not just your head.
Some people become nauseated, others vomit. Many become extremely sensitive to light or sound. Some experience dizziness. Some have numbness. Others lose part of their vision before the headache even starts.
That reminds me of David's story. David was driving home from work when flashing lights suddenly appeared across his windshield. The road signs became blurry. His hands started shaking. He honestly thought he was having a stroke. He safely pulled onto the shoulder of the highway and called 911 because he believed he was dying. At the hospital, doctors diagnosed him with migraine with aura. Later he said, "The headache was awful, but believing I might never see normally again was even scarier."
Imagine surviving that, and then hearing someone say, "It's just a headache."
According to the American Migraine Foundation, migraine is a complex neurological disease, not simply a severe headache. A migraine attack can affect vision, balance, speech, thinking, digestion, and cause extreme sensitivity to light, sound, smell, and touch. The headache is only one part of the condition.
And according to the World Health Organization and the Institute for Health Metrics and Evaluation, migraine is one of the leading causes of disability worldwide among people under 50. That's how serious this disease is.
Which explains why so many people need to lie down in a dark, quiet room. It's not because they're being dramatic. Their brain becomes overwhelmed by normal sensory input.
One thing we've learned from talking with our community is how many people instinctively reach for something cold during an attack. That's one reason the Soothie hoodie was designed, to provide wearable cooling or warming therapy with gentle compression around the head, face, and neck. It's intended to be one comfort option alongside the treatment plan recommended by your healthcare provider.
Have you ever been told, "Just push through it"? Honestly, that's one of the most frustrating things people with migraine hear.
Because if it were that easy, we would. Exactly. Here's a story that really touched me. A father had spent weeks planning his daughter's birthday party. The decorations were perfect. Friends had arrived. The cake was on the table. Then the migraine started. He ignored it because he didn't want to disappoint his little girl. Within an hour, every child's laughter sounded like a fire alarm. The bright balloons felt like floodlights. He became so nauseated he had to lock himself in the bedroom while everyone celebrated downstairs. Later, his daughter quietly asked, "Daddy, were you mad at my birthday?" He wasn't. He simply couldn't function. That breaks my heart. Migraines don't just steal your day. Sometimes they steal moments you'll never get back. According to the American Migraine Foundation, migraine attacks can involve disabling symptoms such as severe nausea, vomiting, dizziness, sensitivity to light and sound, and difficulty concentrating. For many people, these symptoms make normal daily activities impossible until the attack begins to improve. That's why just pushing through isn't always possible. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is exactly the opposite. Rest, hydrate, take your prescribed medication if your healthcare provider has recommended it. Reduce light and noise. Give your brain time to recover. And if cooling therapy helps you feel more comfortable, having something wearable can be a lot easier than trying to balance an ice pack on your forehead. We've all chased a melting ice pack across the couch. More times than I'd like to admit. Here's another myth that's surprisingly common. Only women get migraines. Absolutely not. While women are more likely to experience migraines, largely because hormonal changes can play a role, men get migraines too. Teenagers get migraines. Children get migraines. No one is immune. I remember hearing about a 17-year-old football player. He started getting migraines during practice, but he refused to tell anyone. Why? Because he thought migraines were a girl's problem. One afternoon, after trying to push through another attack, he collapsed on the sidelines. His coach thought he was dehydrated. His parents feared something much worse. A neurologist later diagnosed him with migraine. He admitted he'd been hiding the attacks for nearly 2 years because he was embarrassed. Stories like that remind us how dangerous misconceptions can be. People delay getting help because they think migraine doesn't happen to someone like them. According to the American Migraine Foundation, migraine affects people of every age, race, and gender. While women are affected more often after puberty, men, teenagers, and even young children can also develop migraine. That's why awareness matters. Migraine doesn't discriminate. The sooner someone recognizes the symptoms, the sooner they can talk with a healthcare professional about getting the right diagnosis and treatment. Let's talk about misconception number 4. It's just stress. We hear that all the time. It really does. And yes, stress can absolutely trigger migraines. But it's far from the only trigger. Here's an incredible story. A woman kept a migraine diary for nearly a year because she was convinced work stress caused every attack. But after months of tracking her symptoms, she noticed something surprising. Most of her migraines didn't happen during stressful days. They happened the morning after. Her neurologist explained that some people experience what's known as a letdown migraine, where the attack occurs as the body begins relaxing after a stressful period. She said, "I spent years blaming my job when I should have been looking at my overall patterns." That's exactly why tracking your migraines can be so helpful. Sometimes the trigger isn't what you think. According to the Mayo Clinic and the American Migraine Foundation, migraine triggers vary from person to person. Common triggers can include dehydration, skipped meals, lack of sleep, hormonal changes, weather changes, bright lights, strong smells, certain foods, alcohol, and stress. But no single trigger affects everyone the same way. That's why a migraine diary can be one of the most valuable tools you have. Once you begin noticing patterns, you and your healthcare provider can make more informed decisions about managing your migraines. Before we wrap up, let's leave you with a few simple reminders. Migraines are real. They're a neurological disease, not just headaches. You don't have to feel guilty for resting during an attack. Migraine can affect anyone, and understanding your personal triggers is one of the best ways to take an active role in managing your condition. Everyone's migraine journey is different. Some people rely on medication. Others also find comfort in hydration, better sleep, relaxation techniques, wearable cooling or warming therapy, or other tools that fit into their care plan. Finding what works for you often takes time, and that's okay. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to hit subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with someone who still thinks migraine is just a headache. You never know whose perspective you might change. And if you'd like to learn more about wearable cooling and warming therapy or the Soothie hoodie, visit our website to see how many people have made it part of their migraine comfort routine. Remember, your migraines are real, your pain is real, and so is hope. We'll see you next time. Don't let pain steal your joy.